Hop onto the shuttle bus this week as we discuss part two of our Maybe I'm Dreaming discussion. We are your hosts, Faith and Sapph. Welcome to Shuttle Bus Podcast. Good evening. Welcome to the shuttle bus as we continue our discussion on Maybe I'm Dreaming. This week we will be discussing the Saltwater Room. I am your host Faith, here with my wonderful co-host Sapph.
Hello, Faith. How are you today?
Good. So we're doing something a little different. I know on the end of our last episode we said that we would be discussing Saltwater Room, giving a brief overview of Early Birdie and whatever the third song was, I don't remember now. But we have, due to just life, we have decided to go back to discussing one song per episode. So tonight's discussion is the Saltwater Room. So, Seth, would you like to kick off our discussion on the Saltwater Room?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been looking forward to this song and discussing this song for quite a while because this is actually my favorite version of the Saltwater Room, and I know there's a lot of people that are gonna have some beef with that, but honestly, it's just too good in my opinion. So anyways, if you don't like that, I'm sorry, but that's just me. So my first point is I absolutely love the guitar picking at the beginning and the little extra intro. It really builds together quite well. Like, it's, I don't know, it's soft, and yet, like, when you add the drums and the bass line and you add everything all together, it really starts to feel alive. And I love that. I love that about this version. With the Ocean Eyes version, which we'll eventually get to, um, and the Ocean Eyes version, it feels too clean almost, but they're both really good, but it just feels too clean. So yeah, that's what I think.
Um, so yeah, so the guitar on this song is really good. I enjoy a good guitar part. Like Al said, he is really good about mixing the guitar with his style. He's very like electronic heavy. Like he does a lot of synths and a lot of little beeps and boops and whatnot. But when he does add guitar, like little guitar riffs, he does a really good job. Interesting thing about the guitar that I didn't realize until I was examining both saltwater rooms was that like when I think of the saltwater room, I think of that like iconic guitar riff that's like at the end of towards the end of the song. I did not realize that was not in the Maybe I'm Dreaming version. It's only in the Ocean Eyes version, and I don't know what to think about that because I really enjoy the Maybe I'm Dreaming version, but it doesn't seem like the same song without that iconic guitar riff towards the end. I don't know what to think about that. Like I enjoy all the other little guitar bits and all like the song's really good, but when you get to that end without that iconic guitar riff, it's lacking something. I keep waiting for it to happen and it doesn't. And I hate starting off my point with being like a almost negative point towards the Maybe I'm Dreaming version because I really like the Maybe I'm Dreaming version.
So, like, what do you mean by the iconic riff? You mean the one at the beginning of the Maybe I'm Dreaming? Is that what you're talking about? Because on the beginning, there's a guitar riff that would be at the end of the Ocean Eyes. I think. Am I wrong?
I'm trying to think because it's not the same guitar riff that I think plays at the beginning of the Maybe I'm Dreaming. It's
Oh.
like it's the like oh man, I don't even know if I can hear it in my head. This is one of the few times that I can actually hear the song in my head while we're recording. But oh gosh, I can't know if I can sing it.
The one that I'm
It's like
thinking
the
of. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
no, what was the part you were thinking of? Maybe that will help me narrow down what I'm thinking
What
of.
I was thinking of was the da 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 da. Yeah,
Not
that one.
it's close. It's the da 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 da. It's like close to that. I can't sing it because my tr brain is not translating
Oh,
with my mouth. It
I feel
doesn't
like you.
usually, but it's only in the oceanized version. I didn't realize that until I was examining both.
Oh, okay, okay. See, I didn't go and examine both because I wanted to just kind of feel the vibes for the Maybe I'm Dreaming and be almost like just detached from the more polished
Yeah,
version.
I was.
But
I kind of
that's
did that with
fair.
the On the Wing.
Yeah.
I did that with the On the Wing because I listened to the Oceanized On the Wing, but I really didn't hear a big difference between the two.
Yeah, that's
But
what I did compare the two just for the I think it was the da da da's just to see if it had it, but yeah,
yeah,
that's like the only time I compared the two.
but yeah, I was like when I realized that because I kept waiting for it to happen in the Maybe I'm Dreaming version, and it didn't. And I was like, I don't know what to like to think about this. Because that's like, for me, when I think of Saltwater Room, I think of that like iconic like riff that's in the Oceanized version. Gosh, I can't talk tonight.
Yeah, no, no. I see what you mean. I think I know the one you're thinking of. I wish I could like play it like in my headphones while I'm recording just to like make sure I pinpoint it, but I can't do that. Um, but anyways, recording equipment, yay! But yeah, for me, so the elephant in the room is what I want to talk about next. The alternate lyrics, and this is probably what so many people have a beef about. Like they're just so upset about this. Is the alternate lyrics? I don't know. I like them quite a lot. Yeah, so my favorite is the difference is when we count all the ship lights. I think that one's kind of cute, and you know, when we walk along the shoreline, and I really like those two little bits. Um, just because Owl City cadence,
Yes, as we've discussed before.
the Owl City cadence, the cadence.
So I feel like a bit dumb. Um, that's normal. Um, what I tried to find all the alternate lyrics, but the only one I could find was the beginning where it says something about, oh gosh, what is it? Something about the planes versus stars. One has stars and one has planes at the beginning. Am I missing more alternate lyrics? I thought I got them all. I didn't realize there was more. Or I would have examined those two and kind of like picked which was my favorite.
There's there's the one that I pointed out, and then there's the planes. Yeah. Um, there's also this one little bit. I don't know if this counts, but there's this one little bit where he goes. He's talking about the caves and the sounds in the caves, and it's just like one little word, but I can't think of what it was.
The only one I caught was in Maybe I'm Dreaming, it's staring up at the planes that aren't there anymore, and Ocean Eyes is staring up at the stars that aren't there anymore. And I didn't realize there was more. I thought that was the only alternate lyric.
Okay, yeah, so it's staring up at the planes that aren't there anymore. Um and then create a great sound. So it's create a great sound in Maybe I'm Dreaming, and in the version of Ocean Eyes, it's creating a great sound or
Oh,
creates a
okay.
great sound.
Oh, okay.
It's a
And then
little different.
the ship lights is in place of what line?
Let me see. Say I remember it's
Because I'm looking at the Ocean Eyes
feels
lyrics and
like
I'm not
our
seeing the
home
ship
some
lights
nights.
line. So
When we count all the ship lights, I guess we'll never know when sparrows love the snow.
okay, let me find the Sparrow line
Yeah, that's
so I can compare it. I didn't realize there was more alternate lyrics. I feel like this is like a
Okay,
hidden gem for me right now. I'm
but
very excited.
I feel warm with your hand in mine when we walk along
Oh,
the
when we walk
shoreline.
instead of counting all the ship lights, it's when we walk
Walk
along the
along the
shoreline.
shoreline. I guess we'll never know. Our
Oh,
spirits love the snow.
I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
And then he
I didn't
also.
realize that.
Does he say anything else? I don't think he says anything else after that one. Um,
Mhm.
I think, yeah.
I felt like I'm going on a great discovery now. I didn't realize there was more lyric changes than just the planes versus stars. What?
Yeah.
This is crazy.
It's
This is
pretty
crazy for
cool.
me right now.
It is pretty cool. But yeah, no, it's really cool. Um, took a little time to pull up the lyrics, but uh, I don't know. I really like the subtle changes. I really do. So, anyways,
I do, yeah, I like that. I like when we count all the ship lights. That's a nicer lyric. That's like a more creative, like imagination, like sparking lyric
yeah, no,
than
yeah,
when we
yeah.
walk along the shoreline.
I mean, it's when we walk along the shoreline is cute, of course, but like when we count all the ship lights,
It's
you hear
just,
that when we
oh,
count when we bleh, I can't talk anymore. When we count all the ship lights, when we count all the ship lights, it just fits so much better in that place when we walk along the shoreline or when you say when we count all the ship lights. Like it just has more impact and the way he says it is more rhythmic.
like, any couple can go walk along the shoreline together. Like, that's very expected.
Yeah.
But like to sit there with whoever you're with and like we're gonna count the ship lights together. That's like you in a whole other level. I don't know. It's more impactful as like a memory, I guess,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It does. It does. Um it's just it's cute. It's really sweet. It's more you remember it. You're right. It's more of a memory maker than just like, oh yeah, we went for a walk on the beach. Which would also be nice,
Yeah.
but
Yes. But
continuing.
yes, I do like really enjoy the lyrics of the Saltwater Room. Um, and like my mind is blown by finding there was more differences than I thought. But I do have like I could probably go like line by line and like talk about how much I love each lyric, but I'm just gonna pick like a couple of my favorite lines because I couldn't narrow it down to like one. One of my favorite lines is, "If this is what I call home, then why does it feel so alone?" That's always been one of my favorite lyrics since like pretty much the beginning of being an Owl City fan. And then another favorite lyric is, "What will it take to make or break this hint of love?" I just really like that one too.
Yeah, no, those are definitely like among my tops for sure. I think it's really sweet. And the one you were saying, if this is what I call home, why does it feel so alone? It kind of implies that like her company makes you feel like makes him feel like it's home finally. Like something was missing, and it's kind of complete, and it's really sweet. I don't know. That's just precious to me. That imagery that it paints.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, it's so sweet. I also like the simpler set of instruments. I think it fits really well. Um, I don't know. I know the other one is much more clean and put together. Like he had, he put more thought into it. But even though everything is so simple, it kind of linking back to that beginning where it builds and builds and builds. I think that and the simpler set of instruments, because of course he's got kind of the, I guess, the string synths in the background, and he has the guitar riff running through the middle, and then he has a little bit of piano, and of course I want to say it's either a hip hop or it's a hi hat type drum, and I think all of those are just magical, and it fits better to me. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. There's something about the arrangement for Maybe I'm Dreaming. It sounds warmer and like
Yeah.
it just has like a softer, like more gentle sound to it
Yes.
than the cleaner, crisper sound of Ocean Eyes.
I 100% like agree. That's I was going to say I was trying not to use too many like oh, it feels warm and fuzzy because it does make me warm and fuzzy. But I was trying not to use so much of those words because I used it so much during the um there I go saying so much a bunch. Anyways, redundancy. I don't know. For me, I used it a lot during fuzzy blue lights, of course, because fuzzy blue
Yes.
lights. But I don't know. It definitely feels that way, and you just kind of get this subtle vibes of him like wanting to be with this girl, and it's yeah, it's very warm and fuzzy. So, anyways, continue.
So, kind of, I don't know. I feel like this kind of what I'm about to say fits the Maybe I'm Dreaming because, like, more so because it has that warmer, like, undertone to it. Like, if you were to pick, like, color palettes, you would pick, like, a warmer undertone for your picture for Maybe I'm Dreaming and, like, a cooler undertone for your Ocean Eyes picture of this song, if that makes sense, but in music terms. But it's just one of those songs that has a more, one of those Owl City songs that have a more timeless sound to it. I don't really know how to explain like how it has a timeless sound to it, but it's one of those Owl City songs that just feel timeless.
I think part of that is because of its age. The Maybe I'm Dreaming was like really at the cusp of Owl City. And I want to say that he may have done a couple of songs from it on his first tour, or close to it, anyways. It really was the beginning, the true beginning. I know Of June was his first EP to drop from the Owl City name, but I feel like in terms of Owl City, the name Owl City, it really like the journey began in Maybe I'm Dreaming. So that's probably something to do with that, and it does help that he did end up putting it on Ocean Eyes later on because Ocean Eyes got the most attention with Fireflies. And then, of course, you know, the Saltwater Room is one of everybody's favorites off of it, and Hello Seattle, and a whole bunch of them that kind of were taken from somewhere else, brought back into the limelight. So I don't know. It may have something to do with that, maybe not. But I really yeah, timeless. That's a good way to put it for sure.
Yeah, I think what you were saying has a lot to do with it. It is, I mean, I try not to hold Owl City to one era is better than the other. I try to just take it all in as it is and just enjoy it for what it is. But like there is a classicness, a timelessness to his older music because obviously it's older and it's been around more and it's kind of, you know, whether it's for a whether gosh, let me try to find my thoughts. Um whether it's good or bad that people think this, the older music is what people think of when they think of that Owl City sound, that Owl City music.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree with that. I absolutely agree with that. And something too, I know what you mean with like trying not to hold it to one era is better than the other. I get it because so many people are like, "Oh, new stuff, you know, is better. Old stuff better because old stuff's like classic. The new stuff isn't actually Owl City." When reality says Adam is growing older and as time passes, his style changes, and that's okay because everybody changes when you get older. And so, I get what you mean, and like that feeling is such a beautiful thing, honestly, to be able to accept every part of the era or every part of his style because it ranges so, like, it varies so much. But back to what you were saying about, you know, how it feels like timeless and like everybody thinks of blank song when they think Owl City. I think Brienne, she's on a lot of the older stuff. I think she does a great job with accompanying Adam. I love the harmonies. That was something that stuck out immediately. And when I sing the song, I sing the harmonies, and it's just so breathtaking what they did on this song. I think it really feels smooth. I guess that's the best way to put it. It feels smooth. They really did a good job.
Yeah, I can't agree more. I think Bri she Brianna is on so many of I don't know how many there are. There's probably not as many as it feels, but she's on a handful of Owl City tracks from back in the day, and her voice does accompany Adam's voice so well. Like I don't know, he's duetted, done like songs with other artists, but I just don't think they mix as well as it does with Brienne. I think Brienne fits his style of music so well because she has such of that like dreamy voice herself that it mixes so well with Adam's dreamy voice and with his dreamy style of music. It's like her voice was made to be with his music. It felt so well together.
Ooh, that's a good way to put it. Dreamy. Yeah, no, 100% I agree. She is pretty widely known for, just being on a handful of songs, but that's probably because she was still touring with the band during the Ocean Eyes, I guess, time period. So, yeah, that may be like partial. That may be part of why she's seen so much success in terms of the Owl City community. But 100%, I agree. It's so nice. She does really really good job.
So I already discussed a little bit about the differences between the Maybe I'm Dreaming um saltwater room and the oceanized saltwater room, and I really didn't want to make my points all about like the differences between the two songs, but that was like for me the bigger thing that stuck out was the differences, and it's a big thing within the Owl City community. Like I think between tracks that have been released originally and then were released again for Ocean Eyes, there's quite a few of them. And like the one that I think of that has the biggest difference is Hello Seattle. But that doesn't get talked about a lot because it's almost like the of June Hello Seattle doesn't even exist to a lot of Ocean Eye, or not Ocean Eyes, but a lot of Owl City fans. It's like just Ocean Eyes, Hello Seattle for the most part. And to me, On the Wing, that gets kind of talked about. Um, but I feel like there's fewer differences. But I feel like the big thing that gets talked about, like alternate songs, is the Saltwater Room versions. Like that's a big thing within the Owl City community. So, like, I kind of found myself comparing the two just to see the difference and see if I landed one way or the other, like preference wise. But I don't know if I did. So I really enjoyed the Maybe I'm Dreaming version because, like I said earlier, it had that warmth to it. And it just felt more homey and cozy. And I do like the alternate lyrics. I think I'm a little like kind of the ones that you pointed out because I didn't realize those existed, but I like the watching the ship lights or counting the ship lights versus walking on the shoreline. Um, I'm a little iffy on whether or not I prefer planes over stars, but like I kind of do. I don't know, but I kind of like the alternate lyrics and Maybe I'm Dreaming, and I like the warmth to it. But the Oceanized version does have that iconic guitar riff that I was talking about towards the end. And like for me that like that's the Saltwater Room sound is that iconic guitar riff that I think of when I that's in the Oceanized version. That's what I think about. And so I was so confidently saying maybe I'm dreaming before I like realized that because I do like everything else about the maybe I'm dreaming version. But then when I heard the Oceanized guitar riff, I'm like, oh, well, now I'm kind of divided. I'm not sure which version I like better.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go and listen to the Ocean Eyes version again. Just because I don't listen to it as much because I love the Maybe I'm Dreaming version. But really just solely because of the lyric differences. Everything else, I just fall in love with the lyrics every time. Um, but yeah, no, I'm gonna have to go examine that and see because I didn't know about that. I thought pretty much like other than a simpler setup in terms of the tune and everything, I thought it was the same. So that's interesting.
And I'll have to go back and listen because like I keep feeling like the riff is or should be in the Maybe I'm Dreaming version,
Is
but
it
I don't
is it
think it
underneath
is.
any of the tracking? Like is it underneath anything? Do you think like it got
It
overlooked?
could possibly. So the part that I remember it could be somewhere in the middle of the song and I just overlooked it and forgot it.
Mhm.
But the one that stuck out most to me was there's like that final like 4 lines of lyrics that Brienne sings by herself towards the end of the song in both songs. And it's right before that. And it's like it wants to exist in the Maybe I'm Dreaming version, but it's so like if it does, it's so toned down and mellowed out and the notes almost blend that it wants to exist in that song, but it doesn't. But it definitely exists in the Oceanized version. It could be somewhere else in the song and I just overlooked it and forgot about that part. But the part that really stuck out to me was the ending to Saltwater Room. Was that riff was in the end of the Oceanized version, but not the Maybe I'm Dreaming. It could be somewhere else throughout the Maybe I'm Dreaming song or version, and I just missed it or forgot about it. But yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. It might be there. I mean, but then again, it might not. Um, so we'll just have to get back with everybody and kind of compare it and look at it and really analyze it. Um,
no, it's like, oh, it really threw me for a loop.
yeah, absolutely. Um, I should have brought this lyric up earlier, but I forgot it was actually on my list. Do you wish we'd fall in love? I know you actually talked about that one earlier, and I was like, oh, I should have. After I saw it on the bottom of my list, I was like, oh, I should have integrated that with something. But anyways, uh, it's again, it's adorable. I cannot say anything except for this song is adorable. Apparently, that's where my brain is at today. So, um, but anyways, it's cute. I like romantic things. Apparently, that's like
I
90% of
mean,
my music is like romance. And so, anyways,
what can we say? We're a couple of hopeless romantics, you know?
exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I will say, I really do love that line, like that paired with the one that I picked out, which is, what will it take to make or break this into love? It's just all those little questions that are because I think there's more, but I don't remember because I can't remember all the lyrics at the top of my head. But like all those little questions about are we gonna fall in love? Is this love gonna work? Like it's so relatable, you know? Like oh like it gives very much like just
Teen
beginning of relating
romance.
what
Teen romance.
kind of yes that is a way
Sorry.
to put it because it's like it's
Yeah.
not I think that's a good way to put it because it's not like, oh, we're well established in love and we're gonna make this work and everything. It's like we're at the beginning of a relationship and we're in the beginning of getting to know each other, and we realize that we both like each other, but is this actually going to go somewhere?
Right.
You know, it's
And
like, should we continue to go on the path of a relationship? And if we do, is it even going to work out? Do we just spare ourselves the heartache and just not? Like, once we start a relationship, is it going to stay that way? Or is there going to be something that's going to like break it for the, kind of like say, like be the end of it for both of us or whatever it is? It's just like that wanting the relationship to work out, but that fear of not knowing if it will.
yeah, exactly, exactly. Um, it just, yeah, yeah. You covered it. It's all these like little questions that you're asking yourself, or you might ask somebody if you're getting into a relationship. You're just like, okay, so we're at a turning point. Now what happens? And you just kind of have to decide from there. Like, figure out if you like this person, and after that, what do you do? So yeah, no,
Exactly.
beginning relationship vibes. That's really what it gives. So yeah, absolutely, you did a really spot on job describing that there.
So, my kind of final note for the night is kind of like this little honorable mention towards the song, which is I love like how the fact that the term saltwater room is not a real term. Adam just made it up for the song. And I love that. That seems like a very Adam move to just go make up a term and use it like in a song and as the title and everything.
See, I'm grinning really big right now. You can't see me, but I'm grinning very large because when I saw that in your notes, I was like, "Oh my gosh, she's right. That is such like an Adam thing to do." And the idea of it, so even though it doesn't exist, everybody can imagine it. If you have the ability to imagine things in your brain, everybody can see what the saltwater room looks like. Set this ballroom aglow, a big grand space underwater, perhaps glass. People see something of that. And I think even though it's an imaginary concept, he does a really good job painting what that's supposed to look in your room, or in your head. And I
Yes.
yes, yes, just yes.
And I just love how it's not just used as a fun, quirky title. He like integrates it in the song and says it with such confidence in the song as if it's an actual term when he's like, oh, where is the line? He says, you can hear the waves and underwater caves as if you were actually inside a saltwater room. And it's like he says it with such confidence in the song that like you have to believe that it's a real thing. And then like it's not, it's just up, but he integrates it with such confidence. I just love that part.
Such beautiful like wordsmithing. That's something I notice a lot about Adam, is just a lot of his original like older stuff. The wordsmithing is unmatched. And again, not
Oh
trying to
yes.
like placate towards the people who like the original Owl City. I love his new stuff. I love Coco Moon. I love Cinematic. There's both like very important to me songs, sentimental songs on those. But in terms of like his wordsmithing, you can't beat it.
Exactly.
Um, but yeah, that's all I've got to say on maybe I'm dreaming. It's gorgeous. It's amazing. It's so good.
Now, do you think you could possibly? I don't know how I'm gonna. I was gonna go with the thing in my brain, and then the thing in my brain left.
Oh,
I was trying to transition, and that did not work.
you could just say now it's time for shuttle bus math.
That's what I was trying to transition into. I was gonna do like this whole like, could you find one more thing to say about this song and give me a ranking, and then it just didn't come out that way. So if you had to rank using your lovely shuttle bus math inside your lovely brain, to rank this song, what would you rank it? 0 out of 10, or
I would
whatever, out of
rank
10.
it a 10 out of 10. This is one of my all time favorite Owl City songs, and just again, listening to it and breaking it down, it always creates a new sense with different Owl City songs, it always creates like a different sense. Not like it's usually a good thing because it gives you more feeling towards it, just because it's you're not just listening to it for the pleasure of listening to it, you're actually trying to analyze it and break it down. So it always makes me have more of a connection. That's what I was trying to say, more of a connection with the song. And so it just made me more like fall more in love with it. I cannot get away from that. The Saltwater Room, maybe I'm dreaming, hands down.
Yes. I have similar sentiments about it, which I definitely would give it 10 out of 10. I almost gave it like when I was ranking and I was like, it's almost so good that I should give it like an 11 out of 10 because it's just that good. It's one of those like Owl City songs just kind of like they're so easy to get lost in your imagination, but there's just a handful of Owl City songs that really just make you just feel like you're like floating, and this is one of them. This is one of those that really just get you lost in your imagination in this alternate like world and your thoughts and everything. Like it's just one of the dreamier or one of the most dreamiest Owl City songs that exist.
Thank you so much for joining us for the 15th episode of Shuttlebuzz Podcast. Don't forget, you can follow us on Instagram at shuttlebus_podcast for more Owl City related content. Right along with us next episode as we discuss Maybe I'm Dreaming, and that'll be our part 3 version of our Maybe I'm Dreaming series, which will continue on, and we will be talking about air traffic. For now, this is Sapph.
In Faith, I think that's what my part.
Yeah, saying goodbye. Yep, you got it.
I
Goodbye. Goodbye.